What's up, man?
What's going on?
Men, people, dudes.
Let's talk some markets.
Yes, Market Monday, right?
Yeah.
I love Mondays.
Yeah, we haven't talked markets in a while. We've been kind of busy, all of us, in different avenues, different scopes, and
Yeah.
I was like, I texted you this week, and I'm like, dude, let's talk markets. We got some interesting movement going on, and I think we just kind of need to go over kind of where we're at, where we've talked about, and just kind of see what's what. Talk about some different information. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear your take.
What is your main thing you're excited to talk about?
Legacy markets. I'm trading individual stocks a little bit here and there. Palantir after hours. I'm pretty excited to see what happens there. I took a little bit of a safe leverage position. You know, I sold a put and then I used the profits to buy some calls that expire Friday. So I'm hoping for a pop tomorrow after hours.
So I always love the talk. It's always like, I did the deal with this and the thing. And is it going to go up or going to go down?
Up,
like,
up. I want it to go up.
Okay, there
up
we go.
Only. Don't you know that? Markets don't go down.
Yeah.
I don't think we can. Is that thing trademarked yet? I know they have the Up Only podcast, but everybody read the disclaimer. Don't use anything that we say as like financial advice. So don't be an idiot. Make your own choices, please.
Yeah.
You know, but
be an individual.
Be an individual. That's always a good thing to say. Well, I'm gonna start with Bitcoin just because you know it's Bitcoin. We're Fortune Crypto, so
yeah.
Ultimately, for me, we're still in the same range that we've been talking about. I still got the same targets that are there. Nothing is really out of the norm for me with what I see on the charts. You know, and in the overall macro system, whether it's legacy and whatnot, all the stuff that's going on with interest rates and rate hikes and bonds, and it's a goat rodeo, man.
I have never been more certain that I have no idea if we're going up or down. so I'm trading pretty tight and pretty careful because
here's some alpha.
I really don't know.
This is always true. It's either going to go up or down.
Yes.
So
yes, thank you.
In case you were wondering.
Perfect. You tell me which way.
Down.
I think so too. I think
down.
Possibly. Yeah.
We talked about, I posted on the Discord a while back too. So I can't remember who it was asking. Like they're looking at their chart and they said, "Oh, look, is this your favorite?" I think it was Dan.
Oh yeah,
I think it was Dan. And he was like, "Isn't this your favorite pattern?" He had something like this drawn up here. It's like it's basically where I get
like a Head and Shoulders. I don't think that's your favorite.
No, I didn't. No, that's not my favorite. Head and Shoulders. It's the.
I know it's the ascending wedge. That's when you know.
Yeah, it's the ascending wedge. So I think he had something drawn like this, and he was zooming in on this area here, talking about isn't this your favorite pattern?
It's not the same. Yeah,
it's not the same. And so I was telling him, I was like, well, you have to take in this whole move here coming from the beginning of March or the end of March through this time frame to take the pattern into consideration. And what makes this a false rising wedge or whatever you want to call it is this breakout in April. I guess you can't see as well on your.
I can see it.
Oh,
that's better though.
You can see it in here better. We don't need to see that part.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, so this is a failed breakout. And we didn't reach my target here. So it's, for me, it just kind of shows there's more of a correction that we're due.
Yeah.
But if he was just looking at this part here, you might go, oh yeah, that looks really nice. This is exactly what we want to see, except, you know, you got to pull out to this whole area here and see that this is the move. This entire section is a move. This is the false breakout. And so in the Discord, I think I posted, you know, what it really looked like was more of a, just kind of a wedge pattern itself.
I don't know. That has like a Head and Shoulders like look to it. It's not like classic.
Oh yeah,
like just that feels like I feel like we could touch 25 and
that's my goal.
In a heartbeat. Like
that's the. I mean, if you look at 25,
screaming at you,
25 is a big one.
Yeah.
in a lot of different. We're gonna look at a couple different indicators. One, if we look at the Ichi cloud, right?
Oh yeah.
25.3. It's still bullish, but
Yeah.
you're looking here. You should be looking at taking some money off the table, looking for this move down for a correction and a reset at the baseline.
Yeah.
And potentially what it does in the cloud, there's an edge to edge potential move, but that's more of a macro single, or what are we doing overall on the macro side? For me, I'm looking at this 25, just like you said.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at potentially some leverage longs. I haven't done a leverage long in a long time, but I think we have some opportunity to, still hit this 30 to 40K that,
after we touch 25,
we get reset.
Yeah.
And if we pull in, let's see. What are my moving averages? That's an interesting one. So this is the 200 week MA heat map. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this one. This one's a fun one to look at if you look at the weekly. So slow. What are you doing to me? So this one is ultimately just looking at the amount of the movement of the 200 week and where that sell point should be, where that buy point should be. Obviously this one hit the sell point pretty solid. It was never gotten to the red on this side here, but we're below the blue in here, so it should be your buy area. Okay. I wanted to see other moving averages. I don't know why it's not on here. I'll have to find out to put on.
Oh, the two.
Yeah, I mean, I usually use what's his name?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think I have it. Oh, ledger status, the EMA 10 and 200.
There we go. Yes. So here we go. Yeah, they had it on there. So, and if we look at here, I'm on the weekly. Let's go back down to the daily so we can see a little bit better. Again, this guy's way down here. I think that the moving average on these he already has set up 20. So I want to see the 50 and 200, because the 50, we can take the 20 off because that's
the death cross or golden cross, right? When
50-200, yeah. So obviously we had the bullish cross here with the 50. We're down below the 50. 200 here doesn't mean it has to hit it.
Yep.
But that would be an interesting move down to the low 20s. Not out of the realm, not out of the possibility. I would definitely lean more bearish if we actually went that low and closed down there.
Right.
But I don't think we do that. I think I'm hedged more sideways right now than bullish, and looking at the 25 mark as being my area of entry. So for Bitcoin.
Nice, me too.
And then everything follows it, right? So look at, there's been a lot of Gala talk in the Discord, obviously.
I got out a little while ago.
Yeah, well,
I got my NFTs I'm just sitting on. But
the moment they started talking about how they were going to release their new GV2 Gala 2 token,
I just don't want to wait for that. Like,
I'm not either.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're really close to where I think we might see a bounces the 25 cent mark. We're there. I honestly, we might go a lot lower because what is it, Thursday? When is it? It's on the 15th.
The 15th.
What are we at today?
We are.
Oh, we got 7
8.
more days. That's
we got a week.
Next week.
Yeah, we got a week.
We got a whole week. So I might hold off on the 25. We'll see what's going on here.
2.5 cents.
Sorry, 2.5.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yep.
The 2.5 mark. We'll see. I'm not diving in. I'm not putting any orders in. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I'll be watching that area closely. And, who knows? Maybe we get a quick rip down, and that's, this rips in that same area, and Bitcoin rips down to 25K. We get the bounce. We move up.
Right.
Because when I look at the overall let's talk last week. Let's move into legacy and the fact that markets have been driven by two factors, in my opinion. One, interest rates, and most recently, the banking stuff.
Yes.
Right. So the banking stuff, I think, has been really bullish for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in whole, also your gold and everything else.
Yep.
So if we look at what's happening, the only other thing that's been affecting is the interest rates, which they raised
25
basis points.
And they said that they're probably not, or they're leaning towards not raising next month. That's the
Right.
first time they've said
And
that.
they didn't say probably. They said they were very aggressive in the fact that what they're saying is they're not going to raise
Right.
the rest of this year.
Did they say that? Like, because they almost never give a hard answer. They usually
No,
like,
it wasn't
hedge a little
hard,
bit.
but
It
you
was
could
just
tell the
like-
way they were saying it
Yeah.
was. They're not going to be like, we are not doing
Yeah.
it. No, I was like, most likely we're not looking to it, because the next thing they said too is, and we'll probably lower rates come next year.
starting next year. And some people want it sooner and think it could come sooner. But yeah.
Yeah. So that's very bullish for the overall markets itself, because we're going to start
Yeah.
to see that kind of relief in the interest rate realm, which affects everything, not just homes. Everybody always thinks of home, but businesses, business loans, and stuff like that. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
one of my questions is, I guess, how long? I mean, just because you guys have been doing this for so much longer than I have, I guess, how long until after? Or I guess what's because part of the reason they were like, if we don't raise rates, inflation still has the chance to just skyrocket. And so I guess how long is that gap between when they stop raising interest rates and then when that fear of mass inflation kind of starts to dwindle down? Like, do you have any idea of like what that kind of, just for like,
I don't
or
have
I guess, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I don't have a set number, but I mean, just more of an overall feel. Like, this is just my opinion, obviously. I feel like inflation is like a psychological thing. It's like when everybody's just comfortable with like paying more, and that's what people have been doing, you get in this kind of positive feedback loop where it just starts to run. I feel like they've broken that mentality. I feel like
Yeah.
most people realize, okay, I need to start tightening a little bit. I know, at least I have, and most people I know are responding that way. And so that's the issue, like, is when inflation's running so hot and everybody's just like, yep, that's just inflation, I'm going to spend more. Now, like, I don't think you're going to see like inflation just like take off because they didn't raise rates next year. Like, it's not going to go to like 8 all of a sudden. I still think it's going to trend most likely either sideways or lower, even after they stop raising, and then kind of see where our new balance is. I think is probably what they're going to look for.
Oh, I just pulled that up too, Nate. That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's if we
Yeah,
look
that's
at,
what I was.
because we have this week, we've got PPI and we've got,
Yes,
well, we had jobs numbers last week, which is very good.
and it was good numbers. Yeah,
Good numbers. We have PPI and
CPI on Wednesday,
CPI.
isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
CPI and PPI.
Yep.
So obviously they're about 1% off if we look at that's what they should put on here as a comparison of what CPI was and compared to what the true inflation rate, because true inflation is giving us right now at this point in time. When they come in with CPI, they're giving us the stuff from a month ago. That last month average of CPI, and they give us that number. Same thing with PPI. Well, PPI is the precursor.
Yeah.
For all the
PPI is more, I think, business side.
Yeah.
CPI is more like,
but it's kind of a
consumer.
precursor because it's like the market value of it. But I mean, you look at this is what it is now, so you can almost go forward a month when we do CPI the next time. So again, if we, let's say, where were we at so right now this is May, so April 8th, so 4.4. That would be almost a half a point down from what they were at. They're at 5% last month.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, interesting enough, they were way the hell off. Let's see, March. Fairly close. Like they were a 0.25% off. So that'd be interesting to see if they could chart that against it. But regardless of how you look at it, it's going down.
Yeah.
So yes, the 25 still seems aggressive in my book, but I think they want to just at least get that one last little hit in there.
I guess
See what it does.
I think they wouldn't have had so many banks collapse if they didn't raise the last 2 months.
Well,
I
that's
still think that
a
would've been the
slow
smarter
roll,
move.
though. I know it affects right now, but it's still this slow effect of all of the stuff that's kind of coming through. So,
Well, kind of, but it literally affects the bank's balance sheet immediately, like their mark to market on their bonds, on their like 10-year bonds that they're holding. Like,
so every
Those are-
one of those banks are going to fail now, regardless of that 25 basis points. There might be one or two out there that are like, oh, that just put me over the edge. But realistically, they're
Right.
all in that boat that they're screwed right now anyway.
Yeah.
The only thing they would have saved those banks is if they would have dropped the rates, which they're not doing.
right, but they
Yet.
could have,
Yet.
Doesn't the interest rate also like really affect I thought I was reading this, that it like one of the biggest thing it affects is like the inner loaning between banks to one another, and that interest that you're paying on
Oh yeah.
loans to other banks is like the biggest factor of why.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what the Fed funds rate is actually. Is like
Yeah.
that's
Oh
the
yeah.
rate
Okay.
that
Maybe
we-
that is what I was thinking of.
like,
Okay.
and so like that's not going to be like your exact mortgage rate, but that's like the rate everybody follows, and all rates are kind of like tied to that. But obviously your mortgage rate is going to be higher than the Fed funds rate.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the charts on the legacy side, S&P looks freaking money for a move up, which plays perfectly into what they've been saying right now.
Yeah.
It actually goes opposite what I've been saying in the Discord: is sell in May and walk away. This looks like
Right.
it's a good idea to be in the markets now and play it out for the next couple months. At least from what this is looking at right now, in my eyes. I mean, everything's above the moving averages. You're back above the conversion line. Everything's green. Even I mean, looks like an inverse head and shoulders. If you look at it almost to a point.
Yep,
Again, you have this little false breakout deal, but we've already played that move back out. So,
yeah, I mean, I think if the Fed follows through and doesn't raise next month, I mean, I would assume the markets are going to react favorably to that.
Yeah, this looks. I mean, for me, very positive for at least a check up to the for the S&P is 44.50, 44.50 potentially.
Yeah, totally.
Qs look strong in the tech side, so a lot of times people think that's going to affect the Bitcoin because they follow tech. It looked really strong as well. We've seen with the bank stuff. Again, you've seen crypto, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically,
right?
Because that's really, I mean, nobody's going to hedge their money into PayPay because it's going to save me from the banks. Someone did, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, crypto. PayPay is the new coin of the people. It's like, okay, yeah, no, you're going to lose your money. The one thing that's out there, so this is an interesting one. So there's a pattern out there. It's called the triple top, right?
Yes, you were telling me. Yeah.
The triple top's like, find a triple top and show me where it's actually played out, a full-on triple top, right? It's like, never. Like, it's so small that it never does.
Yeah.
And this is, a lot of people are calling gold for a triple top. I don't see it. I think the risk on assets like your S&P, your Qs, all that kind of stuff are going to step in and take a hold. Gold might take a little hit here, but I mean, at the most, coming back down to the 1900 range, as a retest. But the full move of a triple top would put this back down in the 1500 range or lower. That's not happening.
That's likely.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So maybe a correction here while stocks run and everything else, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's kind of trying to play out here with these long wicks here.
Yep.
But again, I don't think we see that overall. But I don't know. Everything just looks strong. I mean, and the news from the Fed's strong. Like, there's not a lot there. Even with the banking crisis, like we've had in the last month, how many banks have we had fail? And the amount of money that was in those banks that have failed is either equal to or surpassed 2008's banking crisis. But when you look at the amount of banks in 2008, there was like, I don't know, hundreds.
Yeah.
And this is a much smaller concentrated amount.
Yeah.
But the amount of money that's been lost has been epic.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think we're done yet.
Yeah.
But the markets, I mean, outside of what's the banking?
Is it DPST?
DPST, yeah.
I think so.
I gotta see what that is.
I don't want to look at that one.
Are you in it?
Yeah.
Oh,
just
bro.
a small position.
How are you in that? Are you gonna dollar cost average that thing down to zero, or
I'm just holding it to zero.
Wait, it almost is zero.
I'm holding it till zero.
Oh god, that is the
that was a trade that did not work out.
No, this was one that we got in 2020, which we obviously, when they started printing money, that was one of the things that we looked at. We're like, hey, let's get into the banks, man, because they're going to be making banks are banking.
Yeah.
And they did. So we made a decent amount on that. And just recently, I wanted to look back at it. I think it was down in the 6 range. And then with these banking crises,
yeah.
I highly
I'm down
doubt.
so much on it. I'm just going to go to zero or recover.
Yeah, it's one or the other, right?
Yeah,
Zero
exactly.
recover, zero recover.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everything recovers, everything goes well. But I mean, I'm just never bullish on a an economy that can print money at will whenever it's needed, just inflate everything, put our national debt into the what are we at,
Stratosphere.
30 some odd trillion right now?
It's an
Some
impossible
ridiculous
number.
amount. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like no.
Yeah.
So let's see what they're fighting over the whole. Are they going to be able to
Raise the ceiling.
raise the ceiling, right? And I saw
course they will.
Biden's tweets like, oh, the Republicans either want us to choose between taking away veterans' meals or crashing the economy or something like that. And it's like every year, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's a whole narrative, right?
It's just political. It's fun for them. Like,
Well,
you create a crisis, and now
Yep.
you get to trade your pork barrel shit, and you're like,
Yep.
I want to build a bridge. Well, I want to do this, and I promise this, and I promised a new car to my mom, and I need this to go through, and whatever. Like,
And everybody thinks it's
that's what they
actual real, as in, look, the reality is the dollar is worthless in terms of the amount it's been inflated over your lifetime. Whoever's listening to this, the amount that dollar's been inflated and the amount you cost, has been inflated a boatload. More than what you see on here. Everybody looks at it's only 5% or 4% or 2% or 3%.
It's like 98% in my lifetime.
Yeah, look at that. And
Or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So in reality, like, why? I mean, I know why. It's all about control, and this is what we're seeing in the overall political realm, like you said. It's like, what are we gonna say to each other? We're sitting in the back room. We know we'll pass the debt ceiling. We know we're gonna do it.
if we don't,
Let's
pass the
make a
debt
show.
ceiling, we're done. Like the U.S. is
Yeah, this is the
done.
narrative
Like,
that they
that's
have
not gonna happen.
all the time.
It's not
Every
gonna happen.
president,
Yeah.
they always come through. They always badmouth the other side that they're trying to kill babies because they're not doing this, and then but we're the righteous ones. We want to make sure everybody's helped. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's the same thing for every single one. But they're gonna pass it.
Yep.
They're gonna use the FUD to kind of push and tamper down stuff and be like, it'll come down. Let's see. I can't remember what year it was. I remember. What year was that though? I remember specifically it didn't pass, right? And it's like, oh God. And then the markets, they dumped hard, right?
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to default and the country's going to burn.
Yes.
Well, what happened?
It's like
literally
within hours. Or
it was
a
over a
day,
weekend. I think it was over a weekend. I think it was a Friday. It said it didn't pass and it was over a weekend. They had an emergency meeting.
Yep.
Everybody see it. Emergency meeting. And it's like, oh, we came to an agreement, because everything tanked. And then come Monday morning, like everything was red and gross. And it's like all of a sudden, like, oh, we came to an agreement. And then lo and behold, markets bounce right back.
And you know what's the worst is they are allowed to trade on that. Like, our politicians are still legally allowed to do inside trading. So so they can do all this manipulation, and then once they decide they're gonna pass it, then they go long. They short it before they do, and then they go long. And
100%. They know what's happening.
It's not a fair environment.
Definitely
for
not.
the consumer.
Definitely not.
Retail investor.
I think they got a bill through trying to go through.
I saw that.
It's crazy who it's between as well. I was
know,
that is
it's
the
like,
last collaboration I would have expected in
It's
2020.
AOC and
Gates
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like, hell yeah. I was like, finally.
The thing is, like a bill apparently passed during the Trump administration, and I naively was like, oh, great. Like, finally, it'll at least be illegal. They're still going to do it. It's like, it's human nature. If they've accessed that information, somebody's going to be tempted to make a bad choice. But I was like, well, at least they have to follow the same laws. And then I found out like a year later that it died on Trump's desk. He didn't sign it.
And nobody said anything.
And nobody said anything.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so,
of course
like,
they didn't.
I think I'm a pretty smart person who's pretty on top of the markets, and I got tricked. Like, I was like, oh, at least it's fair now. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, we have to talk some shit coins because this is one of the things that for me always marks some sort of top, whether it's a local top or anything like that, is shitcoin season. I thought it was going to be Doge and your classic Doge run, but we had a new captain come through. Pepe. I did not buy any Pepe. I could have made a shit ton because I was looking at it when it was down in this range here. As in, a friend of mine asked me about it, and I was like, man, I saw it. I'm like, I'm just not ready to dive into these meme coins. I'm like, I'm out. And obviously it runs up 500% after after that, and he's like, I told you. I'm like, yeah, you did. You should just don't listen to me. So whenever you talk to me, it's not financial advice. Take your own choice.
Exactly.
But what I did notice, and it's funny, I talked to my father-in-law this weekend too. I did notice there was a lot of like Twitter turned into a PayPay meme galore. You had its
it's ridiculous.
Soldier Boy was talking about how rich he's become off PayPay. What is it, BitBoy? He's been tweeting about it and just crazy shit. And at that point in time, when you start to see it so much, I get leery. The same thing happened with Shib, in 2021. I was like, this is. We talked with Hill in here. I was like, dude, we were like, this has got to be the top. Like, this just feels like 2018 over and over again right here. And this is the same way that it felt for me.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I didn't see or hear about was it being on the news. That's like the classic. The moment you hear on the normie news,
yes.
It's over.
it's definitely over.
Yes.
And that's why I told my father-in-law this. Hey, one thing I need you to do: if you ever see anything on cryptocurrency on the regular news, not as long as it's not Bitcoin or Ethereum, if it's some of the random token,
don't buy.
if it's some of the random token, I need you to text me right away. He knows not to buy. He doesn't buy anything. He knows not to buy it. But I go, text me right away because I don't watch the normie news. And so he's got that on his to-do list. If he ever sees it, he'll text me. He'll be like, hey, do you know about this PayPay coin? I'm like, definitely sell everything you own. Get the hell out. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of red on the screen there, man. That's ugly. I mean, it's good for buying. I mean,
maybe it's good for buying. I don't know.
I mean, Bitcoin's this is that. How many touches are you going to get before it drops down into this zone, right? And there's no real liquidity until you get down in here anyway. So I just feel like there's something ready to burst. The dam's ready to burst. Get that capital ready to kind of get in, and maybe it's a short-term pump, but I mean, you're going to get something out of the 25 if it hits there.
Yeah.
So.
I know both of us are mostly out right now in crypto.
Right now. I think I posted a couple weeks ago about being out. I took about half off the table.
Yeah.
Just I can't remember what I said, but it was just I just like and then Gala came, the whole Gala upgrade. I was like, well, I sold all my Gala, so that took a lot more off the table for me, and I was like, I just didn't want to be exposed to that risk.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hope it pumps. Like I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope it pumps. And then
I want a better buy, dude.
I don't care.
I do. I'm here to make money. I mean, look, we're talking markets. I'm not here talking markets because I want to just sit around and oh yeah, that's cool. I could have been in there,
If it pumps versus dropping,
yes,
the nodes that you and I have will be more valuable and will generate more daily income. So I'm okay with that.
I can make more money off of a nice quick dip into the 2.5 to 2 cent range and the pump back up than I can. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my nodes.
Yeah.
But they're going to give me Gala anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well be able to buy in lower and still wait to sell as it gets higher.
Yeah, it's true.
Come on, man.
True.
Come on. So are you in any crypto at all?
I have my Magic position that I bought on Arbitrum a while back.
Do you believe it's magic?
Yeah. And when I bought it, I was just like, this is not like a short-term trade for me. So I'm just sitting on it. I think I might still be in profit, honestly, though.
Yeah, because it was down in that 60 cents, 70 cent range for a while.
Shit, did I just post this morning where it was at 90 cents in the Discord?
I think you did, actually.
It's down even more.
I don't know if we talk about the Discord that much, but we should post that maybe on the YouTube if people want more information, because
I think it's in there. Isn't it under our description in there?
It should be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll double check that because that is a good idea. We should probably put that in there for people. Let's see. What does that say? I can't see it. Yeah, it was 92 cents basically when I posted it this morning. I was like, yeah, I'm looking at the 75 cent range. We're getting close. This shit's just dropping. So
yep. No, I bought it on the Arbitrum blockchain, in a wallet I don't look at on purpose. And so I just put $2,000 in and it's going to 0 or 2 million. And it looks like maybe 0. But but I'm like,
not 0.
I don't think
ain't nothing going to 0, man.
I know. I'm just
hell. We were talking about Towncoin in the Discord this morning too, and it's like, how's Towncoin still even a
worth
thing?
Anything?
But it's worth more than Gala.
I know, right? That was the post, and I'm like, that's
oh.
hilarious and kind of.
Are you still able to burn it? I haven't looked after I burned mine. that window
I think
still
no,
open?
I think you still are. I just did it last week. Actually, I found another account that I was
Nice.
moving some tank stuff off of into other ones because I've got Tim running a bunch of the tanks for us.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if anybody's listening and hasn't looked at the Moth app and what the Moth's doing over there, they're building some cool ass shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really. It really adds to the gameplay of stuff. I think they're doing a great job. So definitely check that out. But
Nice.
I was like, oh, I got some town in here, so I was able to swap it still. Sweet.
So it's still open. Good.
That was, and I think that was late last week, like Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
Blake, what are you in? You in anything? Trades wise, I know you have a bunch of like just shit just holding somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in. So, well, I still have Miria from when I first got it that I'm just sitting on, put it away. I mean, it's not even it's in like its own separate wallet, basically. I'm like, I'm not going to even look at it per se. I was in Looks. I'm not in Looks anymore. I guess I got out of Looks a couple weeks ago. But then outside of that, the only things I'm in is I have some Bitcoin and I have some ETH.
It looks at 9 cents. Shit.
Damn.
That's
I mean, it was
that's
it was at 22 cents a month ago, maybe.
9 cents, man. I mean, I like what Looks is still, they're updating stuff, but they're getting more competition out there when you talk about Blur and even well, I guess Blur is the big one, but there's a couple and every other blockchain that's out there. Flip's they're more of an aggregator.
Yeah, and I guess they're not a token per se.
Well, they have Looks on their site, so you can see it's listed on OpenSea or Looks. Those are your two. OpenSea, they've been actually adding some new features, with getting the pressure from Blur and Looks and all that kind of stuff. So they're actually adding
competition
things.
is good for the consumer.
It is.
Yeah.
I still like what Looks is doing. I'm definitely gonna keep that on my outlook. So we'll see. 9 cents though. Ouch.
No, but I've honestly just been kind of slow rolling extra money I have into Bitcoin for the most part, and some Ethereum as well, just because
Nice.
just in a long term
Just
play.
dollar cost average into it,
Yep.
kind of thing. I think that's a smart play. Like
I'm just,
like,
I mean, there's still just a degree of uncertainty I think I just have with the dollar itself, and we've kind of talked about this already. Granted, do I think it's going to happen near as quickly as everyone kind of is talking about it? No. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with, one, I mean, I think one thing that's important to look at is the yuan is still tied to the dollar. It gets pegged to the dollar. So, I mean, when you talk about completely getting rid of the dollar overnight, like that's not going to happen. I mean, that's not my worry, but just we'll see what happens. I also don't think the BRICS thing is necessarily as big of a immediate threat as people are talking about, but you never know. So I'm just kind of slowly just diversifying myself across, what I can.
That's good.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah, Miria. I mean, I think with Miria, it's just going to be this slow trickle down because everybody with their nodes,
yeah,
the 7 days pass, so they can every day they get their new, release of their token that they can just turn around and sell. So
and why would you hold when it's just
problem
going
is
down?
gas is so freaking expensive right now. Like if anybody's trying to move their stuff over, it costs a gajillion dollars.
I saw that. Why is that?
It's PayPay, dude.
It's all PayPay. Just driving.
The meme coin itself has been driving.
Well, and then so did you see the thing too about how like Bitcoin for like the first time since 2017, the transaction fees were higher than
wasn't it?
Oh, maybe it could have been 2016. I'm not sure if it was 16 or 17.
I did see that. I saw it this morning. I actually wanted to look at that on a high time frame and see what effect that had.
But transaction fees are higher than block rewards now. So
yeah, exactly. So they were basically saying, I think, what was the total? Oh, there was I got pulled up. I'm going to talk out of my ass here, so I'm just going to shut up. But it's a very interesting one. Should write it. I might do an article on that because.
Yeah, transaction fees were 6.7 and the block subsidy was 6.25.
And when was that the last time it was that way? Does it give you a date?
It was 2017.
2017?
Mm-hmm.
What time? What year? What
I don't know. The article I was looking at didn't give a date and time.
Well, it's all due to the basically ordinals and that kind of stuff that's going on there. I mean, they're pushing so much usage on there. It's hilarious. And there's a guy that is he keeps talking to me about ordinals, and he bought Forged in Crypto.btc, and I told him he could. I was like, go ahead. I'm like, I have no desire. I'm going to use Bitcoin as what I like Bitcoin for, which is basically to,
Value.
I'll store my value there and have it, when I need to have, Bitcoin, it's there for me as an alternative to money to keep it safe, easy to transfer, and it's out of the reach of, anybody I don't need to have reach in. And that's what I use it for. I use Ethereum for, utility in the realm of shitcoins, NFTs, gaming, and all these other layer ones that are trying to compete with Ethereum and push their stuff out there. Like, that's what they're built for. Like, there's no reason. Now, yeah, you can probably make Bitcoin do it, but do you need to?
Right.
No, you don't need to.
No.
It doesn't bother me. Like, you get the maxis and everybody they're fighting over, and it's like, who cares? Like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Have fun with it. Pump the meme for a while, and I doubt it's going to overtake anything that has already been built for the last couple of years, but cool experiment.
Yeah.
Cool experiment,
That's cool
bro.
to show you can do it, right? Yeah. It's kind of the same way.
Yeah. So
no, I can't find when in 2017 that was. I'm trying to.
I'll look it up more. I was just curious on how that potentially affected price in that time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting just because when you think about I feel like, I'm not a miner, I guess, and so I could be totally off base in this, but I feel like, most miners would anticipate the block reward being more than any earned fees. And so I wonder how that will kind of shift the potential mindset in like mining operations potentially, like if that continues that way. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
See where the money flows, and if it's consistent. If it
Mhm.
consistently does it, I think it changes narratives. But
Yeah.
in reality, is it short-lived? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any more legacy stuff? Any more individual stocks, or should we wrap it up?
I know you got some legacy
I
stuff
got
you
a
want
few
to talk
stuff
about.
I was looking at. Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I'm curious on Palantir. I took a small position on that, and PLTR. I wouldn't recommend anyone else do this. This was just my trade.
This is your trade, okay?
Yeah.
So you're thinking it's going to go up?
Yeah, and so they report after hours. So they probably, I don't know if they've reported yet or soon, but
probably not yet.
Probably not yet. So yeah, still people are kind of betting like I am that it.
But yeah, it's up a lot.
Yeah. So hopefully
it's crushing. Look at that.
Look at that move. Oh, they just reported, right? Because you can see the move, right? So they probably just reported some good numbers.
850, 855. Yes. You're excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I sold, what did I do? I think I sold the 750 put, and then I took some of the proceeds to buy the 850 call.
Nice, dude. That's going to pay out nicely.
It's going to pay out real nice.
For just a week out, or are you going month?
Yeah, just Friday.
Just Friday,
just this Friday. And so, because the way I looked at it was, if I was wrong and it like stayed flat or went down, like if it went down, I would have just picked up the stock at slightly lower, and it was a free, leveraged bullish move.
Hey,
and that didn't work, or it's going to work. So if it can open above 850, I'm going to be real happy tomorrow.
Maybe you can pull up and see what they're reporting right now on that, Blake.
Sorry, I was looking at the Bitcoin. It was December 22nd of 2017.
It was December 22nd?
Yep.
Oh shit. That's actually very interesting, because you know what happened soon after that.
PLTR earnings, is that what you wanted me to look up?
Yeah, look up that, but I'm going to go back to Bitcoin real quick here, and we'll come back to PLTR, because if you look at December 22nd in 2017, right?
It's right on the upside of that dip, or right there.
So you're looking at November, December. That's your top, dude.
Yeah.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the top. So when you look at that same scenario, like hitting this now, completely different. This is a cycle top.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's marking a local top at this zone, and you see where we're at in this move up here, right?
Yeah.
Marking this kind of local top area,
right?
Potential. So
that's in line with what we're kind of thinking.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
It says earnings come out at. Oh wait, it says 5 p.m. Eastern, I
So
believe.
2 p.m. So that means they're not even out. So that means somebody's
Yeah.
taking a
We got an hour.
somebody else is taking a big bet. Then is what drove it. So
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's easier to manipulate after hours too, just because there's so much less volume. So sometimes the big whales will do that. So we'll
Stupid big whales.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I liked that trade, and I liked the setup. And
Yeah.
Cool.
What else you doing?
So got to position Airbnb. ABNB is the ticker. They report Tuesday after hours.
Well, and did you see what their? I mean, this is much more in just a kind of traditional view, but like, did you see what their CEO just recently did?
For Airbnb?
Yeah,
No. What do you?
their CEO lived out of Airbnbs for a month, so
I didn't know that.
so he could understand the consumer point of view and the host owner point of view. And there's actually going to be kind of a whole suite of. And so he was super dissatisfied in what he saw. He was like,
Yes.
"You guys are making this. You went away from what our initial mission was, like to take all of these burdens off of people, and having checkout chores that people have to do, and checkout lists, and having your fees and taxes be hidden, and so you don't know until you go. So there's going to be a whole suite of changes and kind of overhauls coming soon. So
I did hear the changes were coming. I didn't hear that he had actually stayed.
Yeah, so he went in like I believe it was a month, just stayed in like a whole across the country, just kind of went to different Airbnbs, different valued like different types, and we need some big changes. Yeah, I was like, that's cool. I like hearing involved people in business, right?
That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign. Yeah. I mean, I've loved Airbnb, like, before they had their IPO. I just, as a consumer, I thought it was such a great option. And as a consumer, I got pretty frustrated as well with all the hidden fees. Cause like, you'd be like, oh, this is a great deal. It's, $200 a night. And then like you click through, and it's like, when you add cleaning fees and taxes and another fee, it's like, oh, it's actually $350 a night. Well, dude, like,
right.
That's completely different. And so I got to the point where you were just kind of just assuming it was going to be a lot more than the posted price. And you just weren't going to know until you clicked through.
So now that's all going to be absorbed into the posted price.
Good. That's how it always should have been.
So because I mean, people would use that just, they'd be like, oh, we're going to make our listing super cheap because then we have all the back end fees. So people will get through the process and be like, well, I'm already here, I'll just do it.
And then they add on like, oh, make sure you start the dryer and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Why am I paying?
Yeah. Why would I not go to a hotel at this point? Like, it negates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's good. So yeah, they report after hours tomorrow. So we'll see what they end up doing. But
nice.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Sell puts and do another
I actually
call
have,
again?
I did that on this today. And then I also have, I actually have some stock that I'm up on. That I had some calls that I rolled higher. So I rolled my call out to 123. So so that was actually a bearish move, but to take some profits. So if it pops, I'll just let it get taken, and I'll lock in that gain and move to the next play.
I just want to see.
Tesla could be good. I like Tesla's setup right now. They got that gap that I think they could fill in the next week or two.
Yeah, I mean, gap to the 200.
Yeah,
seems like a decent move right there on the Tesla.
I got a lazy 157, I think, put that I sold on that.
A lazy 157.
Well, because it's just like I'm like, oh, it's probably not going to go under there. I'm just going to sell that and just take a little premium.
I'm excited for the day when you're going to say, oh, I did a condor split on a supermoon fold.
It's almost like that.
Yeah, right. It's like yes.
Just wait. Give it 5 years.
Yeah, totally. I'll be there. I'm almost there.
Nice. Yeah. Anything else you got?
QRVO is something I'm keeping my eye on as potential short if the market goes the other way. I always like to have one or two in my pocket just to look at.
What does this do, Michael?
I don't know. I have no idea. I only heard about the day.
That was totally. Yes,
you knew I was going to say.
Oh yeah, because once I notice, I look at it and I'm like, if I don't know what it is, you might not know what it is too. And I've asked you many times, you're like, I don't know. I just look at the chart, look good.
Just look at that red candle. Look at that rejection. Like they had good earnings after earnings, they popped and they just got destroyed.
Yeah, they got hammered.
They got hammered down, and so like that candle today is a bullish candle, like everything else. But
it's temporary.
Exactly. And so this
temporary into the moving averages where it gets rejected and heads back down.
That's exactly the play I'm looking for.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure they're a defense contracting supplier.
Yeah, is that what Google told you?
It is.
I love Google.
Well, what it said was today. Actually, it said that Northrop Grumman came out and was commending them for their excellence in being a great supplier. So I was like, oh, okay, so
Yeah,
they're supplier
there you go. Yeah.
contractors.
There we go. There
I
we go.
mean, I'll tell you what. In terms of what makes money, I mean, it's
Actually, I'm interested in looking. I haven't looked at coin in a while. Just
Yeah.
that legacy side of crypto, kind of
Mhm.
where people get exposed to crypto. Yeah, surprised it's not down as it's up on the day, with Bitcoin being down as far. That's actually really interesting to
It
me.
is interesting.
Well, okay, their earnings.
Well,
must
is
have
it
been
or
really
is it
good.
or is it a,
Look at their earnings. This was their earnings report.
oh,
That's Thursday.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, in a bear market, and that was their earnings report. That's great.
Because they charge so freaking much.
They do well, and they have a lot of money, and I
Yeah.
think also it all depends too. I know they're making a whole out of the U.S. exchange. They're not. People keep saying that they're going to close their doors and move away from the U.S. They're not going to close their doors. They're still going to offer what they can to the U.S. They've got their lawsuit going
Mhm.
through, but they're just going to open up an offshore to offer to everybody else what they're currently offering to the U.S. and more.
Yeah,
Right?
and
They're
more,
probably going
for
to
sure.
they'll probably have leverage.
Mhm.
Things like that, which some people like, some people don't like.
I wish I could trade options on crypto.
Yeah, I'm glad you can't, because
legal.
you'd really confuse me, and I'd probably lose more money. Although maybe I'm gonna find out what a condor split is, and I'm just gonna do it. Isn't it what it is? Isn't it a condor split?
It's not. It's called the Iron Condor, and so
Oh, damn. See, I don't even know the names.
yeah, Iron Condor. You're basically playing both sides. Remember, it's a spread with calls and puts that are kind of far out of the money, and you're basically just betting on it not.
you just
going.
want your money to stay even, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
if you're selling a condor, well, if you're selling a condor, you're trying to just make that premium, and so as long as it stays in between this range and here's
Okay,
your call spread and your put spread,
Okay.
you make money as long as it stays
Okay.
in between there.
That makes sense.
If I remember, I think that's what a condor is.
I got
I'm
you.
pretty sure that's what it is.
All right.
It's
All
4 contracts basically.
I'll
yeah,
leave it.
you're right.
All right. Anything else? you got?
Unity could be interesting to look at. Unity has earnings after close. U is the ticker.
Unity, man. Let's see. I mean, just
Nice.
from last week, everything had a nice pump from last week off those jobs numbers, man.
Yeah.
Oh, this one actually looks very interesting.
Yeah, I did a similar thing with
Let's see
this
on the
one
weekly.
today. I sold the put and bought the call that expires at the end of the week.
All right. Well, I will say this: there's some things I like and some things I dislike here.
Mhm.
The fact that this is, kind of moving as a curve here,
I see. I see. What
This-
you're saying that.
this-
Yep.
Mm,
move down like
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
does not sit well with me. It also kind of almost is the bouncing ball type of situation here. If you look at this,
yeah. Mhm.
touch,
Fail.
dead.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing that gets that there, I mean, I wouldn't touch this with the 10-foot pole, honestly, until we see this start to break up, probably get above the 200, and retest these highs again, showing that, again, there's no such thing as a triple top. It's not really a top, but it still
Mhm.
has that same concept,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Lower volume, though, so I don't know.
They report after close, so I might not even.
Is that today?
tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
So I put the trade on today, and I may close the trade before
Interesting.
close tomorrow.
Huh.
I'll see if I want to take the risk or not.
Yeah.
Depending on the position.
Yeah. Well,
I was kind of.
I hope it goes up for you.
Yeah. It was literally a short-term trade because I was literally thinking with the market, looking a little bit better today, going into earnings, some positive momentum. I think it'll be a good trade tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if I hold it through earnings, but I may not.
This is one that I wanted to. There's a whole bunch of these home sales stuff that I wanted to get.
Oh, cool.
I'll do that for our next market podcast. We'll do a little more home sale. There's a ton of stuff you can look at here, national home sales, where is that percentage wise? You can compare it to the other time. You can get interest rate ones. There's a whole suite of stuff that you can do. I'll have
This is really
a
cool.
whole list of charts on here to look at. Specifically, I'm curious because I'm looking to buy a house.
Yeah.
Still
Right.
for the last few years.
Few
but
years. Yeah.
much to the chagrin of my wife.
Yeah.
Stingy old man, she calls me, but whatever.
You're just, it's going to happen when it's right. You're going to get the right spot when
But
it's supposed to happen.
We'll look at these the next time. So,
Yeah.
What else you got? Anything?
I think that's
it?
mostly the PayPal. We could look at PayPal. I don't have a position. They report after hours, I think today. So PYPL.
Cool.
This was just the interesting one. I know.
God,
Yeah, I'm not in it at all. Thank God.
that is gross, dude.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. That's wow.
So
Suck.
this is one I'm just keeping on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it on your radar for what? Buy it at 0.
Just a volatile trade. I mean,
Yeah,
either
I
way,
mean-
like depending on the market, if the market's going up or down, you know, these kind of stocks.
I'll put some orders in down at 41.
I guess if those fill, you're gonna be like, maybe I didn't want
Maybe I don't want that. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. I'm out.
Yeah.
But this volume, I want to see the volume profile on this. Yeah, look at that. See, 41. See, there's
Yep.
nothing here, dude. There is nothing here.
No,
This is so dead.
it's gonna be a nice short.
Yeah, hell yeah. Short the
Yeah.
shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
I'd short that. I
Yeah.
might short that. I don't know how to short it because I can't 10x long a short.
No, you have to buy. You have to buy a put to do it safe, and you have to pay premium for it.
Just up or down, bro. Up or down.
Yeah.
No.
You can 10x a short. You can 10x a put if you do it right and get
No.
lucky.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lucky. It's much
It's all luck. It's all luck, right?
part of it. Luck is part of the game. If you don't realize that, you don't know all the rules.
Oh yeah. Well, cool, man.
This was fun.
So in short, I'm short essentially. In short, I'm short. I think in the short time frame, I'm definitely bearish in what we're looking at. And when I say that, I'm talking like the next week or two, if at the most, like.
Mhm.
But I think overall in the macro time frame this year, we have some definite push up. Like I said, it goes
Yeah.
against my whole sell in May, walk away thing, but I don't know. I think there's some potential here. Give me some entries and short term bearish, longer term bullish,
Medium term bullish.
medium term bullish.
Medium term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see
Yep.
that.
Yep.
All right, man.
Cool.
All right, guys. It was fun talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it again soon.
Let me get this going.
Play my song.